welcome to Cinema Sibs, where I, Rachel Leishman, and my brother, say your name, Patrick.
Patrick.
Le- Patrick Leishman, we're our
I'm
siblings.
taking the Ron Swanson route. Call me
Talk
man.
about, oh my god, talk about movies that we liked when we were younger, and we're going to pretend like we're reviewing them as if they just came out, just because that's more fun.
Well, Temple of Doom is a prequel to
Yeah,
Raiders.
but Raiders came out first, so
Yes,
it's like
but
weird.
I have many things to talk about
You can still
regarding
talk about
his
it. We're just
experiences in Temple of Doom and why he's
oh my
different in
goodness.
Raiders. But
You can still talk about all of that. I'm just saying we're going to just talk about this as if no one has seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
yeah,
Like it is a new concept. If
like
you guys didn't know,
he's with Willie Scott and he realizes a good woman when he meets Marion Ravenwood because he
he
was
already
with
met
Willie
her.
Scott. Yeah, but I meant like, when he came
He
back and he
realized
was
what he
like,
had. He
yeah, there
realized
we
what
go.
he had.
Oh my goodness.
Uh uh Obviously our first episode is we're gonna be talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, a movie that my brother Patrick liked very much, and then he made me watch, and I love Indiana Jones just as much as he does. So why not start with something that we both love? But before we start, Patrick, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, just to add to what Rachel said, during when I got married, our brother, who was my best man, talked about how I wanted to be Indiana Jones when I was a child. And in a moment's notice, I could be Indiana Jones minus the gun.
Yes, behind you.
Can you see it, everyone? Probably
I can
not.
just
It's
see the
just,
whip. I
yes, I
just
have a
see the whip.
12-foot whip that I'm afraid to use because I don't want to get a chin scar like River Phoenix. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, we're talking about Raiders.
No, I'm going to talk about Last Crusade because that's my favorite one. But
Junior.
uh, but yeah, Indiana Jones is. I think how I remember it. I had seen Indiana Jones, but I didn't remember any. Like I was really little, didn't remember a lot of it. And then when I saw Air Force One, Mom was like talking about Harrison Ford, and you got mad at her and was like, she can't like that Harrison Ford. And then I went and rewatched Indy and Star Wars, but I was like 5 or 6. Like it wasn't like I was old. I was still a kid.
Yeah, fun bit of trivia. Our mother and Harrison Ford are July 13th babies. I think
Yep.
Harrison Ford is like 7 years older than my mom.
He's
Our
no
mom.
8. He was 42 and she's 50. 1942.
Oh, I was gonna say
1950.
I'm 42.
No, 1942 and 1950. Sorry to
Gotcha.
age mom, but that's
Age mom. That's awesome. 42. She'd kill for that.
Harrison Ford is 42, not mom's 50. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So,
get it.
but outside of Indiana Jones, explain you as a nerd and a human to the people who don't know you.
Um, Undefeated in Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. Uh, Made King Kong Part 3 when I was about six or whenever the second King Kong movie came out with Sarah Connor.
Not
What's her?
oh that one.
Yeah, King Kong Lives. Dino De Laurentiis
Linda
movie.
Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Um, I was like, I came home and made King Kong 3 because I did not like King Kong 2. And mom had a fur coat because it wasn't as big of a no-no at the time in the 80s. It's basically cocaine and
In fur coats.
and fur coats. Um, but and we made that movie, and the only person that died was our brother Dave. Everyone else lived.
So you killed both of your siblings in movies. He's talking. First of all,
And
to set the scene,
our father, who he
rest in
eventually
peace, died.
died of natural causes. But in fact,
But
he dropped dead to start the plot of a movie that I made in film school.
oh, that's right, the Beatles one. Uh, to be clear, guys, my brother used to make home videos with like our recorder, and we are 10 years apart, and our older brother is 20 years older than me, 10 years older than him. He would never let me in his movies as a kid, and the one time I got to be in it, I had to run in say daddy, daddy, and then I got shot in what eventually was my bedroom. It was your bedroom at the time.
The
But I
Steelers
got
room.
shot and killed. I got shot and killed and just laid on the side of the bed. And that was my big like entry. So you killed me, Dave, and Dad. Mom's the only one who came out unscathed.
That's because I wouldn't put her in a movie because she would tell me that I was doing it wrong. But I don't make movies anymore.
But
She'd be
back
like,
then,
"Why don't you do it like this?"
I think this would be a better
Yeah,
move.
we only spent years working on this, but yeah, you got it.
But
All kidding aside,
I'm
though, I would love to kill mom in a movie.
Mom's gonna be like, I'm so happy my kids are doing a podcast together where they talk about why I didn't die in a movie.
Right.
But so for the listeners who know me from like the Agents of Fandom stuff, I'm Rachel Leishman. I'm a journalist. I do a lot of podcasts with everyone here at Agents of Fandom, and often I talk about how my older brother showed me a lot of this stuff I'm a nerd about growing up, and it made me love this kind of stuff. And so, as you can see, all of his stuff in the background, this is said brother. We do have an older brother who took us to see Star Wars during the re-releases. He also loves Star Wars, but we're the ones that have all of this stuff in our homes. He's cooler. He has sports, but we have nerdy shit on the walls.
Correct.
But so we decided to do this so that we could just we have long conversations about movies we've already seen. So we decided why not do it on a podcast where people can listen to us talk about them.
Yes. Should
And
we
that's
tell
why
them
we're
how
here.
this all started with Eddie and the Cruisers?
Yeah. First of all, to set the scene, guys, our dad's dead. We laugh about it now, but we're part of the
Yeah,
Dead
it was
Dad
it
Club.
was hilarious.
It's hilarious. Our dad's dead. No, but we talked about this with our dad. You can explain how it all started, but we talked about this with our dad. A bunch of stuff happened, so we were like, I guess we'll start it now. So like, this is shout out to my dad's ghost. I hope you're happy that we're doing it. You just don't get to see it, but this started at his house. We had a
Yeah,
whole conversation about
I
it.
was telling her about how I met at a Vons in California in Oxnard, Michael Pere, who is Eddie Wilson from Eddie and the Cruisers. And Rachel goes, I've never seen Eddie and the Cruisers before. And I hadn't seen the movie in like 20 years. And like proceeded to like lay, I was like, all right, it's basically like I think I used The Doors as a reference because everybody thought Jim Morrison was still alive. Oh, spoiler alert, everyone! For this 50-year-old movie or whatever it is. Long story short, it's about Eddie and the Cruisers, which is a band, and he fakes his own death. And the bombshells at the end because Eddie's alive. Season of Fire, that was the name of the album, I think, and it stars a young Joe Pantoliano and Tom Berenger and that one guy from the 80s movies that has the super curly hair that's like short on the sides but kind of goes back into Jerry Seinfeld mullet, but it is curly. I don't know his name, but like he's got the same haircut and he was like all over movies and TV shows in the 80s. Sort of like Howie Mandel's hair when he had hair on St.
Not
Elsewhere.
Matthew Lawrence.
Isn't that
I'm looking
like,
at the cast.
oh,
No,
so can you put a picture up on for
no, I can't.
I don't know the
But
guy's
I'm
name, but does he have like super curly, like dark hair, and he's sort
no,
of
his
got
hair
olive
is
colored
just
skin?
really long.
Is it like
I think it's this man.
okay?
Did he play Sal?
I don't remember it. I remember Eddie Wilson because
Well,
that's my favorite part of Eddie and the Cruisers too. Eddie returns without the Cruisers is at the end he introduces the band and then he goes, "And me, I'm Eddie Wilson." Also, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band is actually Eddie and the Cruisers. Like they do the soundtrack, and they sound like Bruce Springsteen, and they actually have like songs that are like just blatant ripoffs to like "She's the One." I can't remember like, but it's great. On the
I
Dark
know
Side, that's what
we're
it's called.
telling the story of how this started, but I don't recall you telling me Tom Berenger is in this movie because
Oh
then I
yeah,
would have watched this movie
Tom.
because I
Well,
love Tom
this is
Berenger
before you fell in love with Tom Bear. Before you
because
came
I like the
into
Big
that.
Chill.
Yeah.
No, The Big Chill was before this. The Big Chill was like in the 70s.
No, but I'm saying like
No, it was the same exact
let's
year.
be honest though. There's ebbs and flows, is what I'm getting at. And like you were in whatever the not important in your life mode of Tom Berenger was. Like I would have mentioned Tom Berenger if like you were like, I just watched The Big Chill 16 times. I'd be like, Tom Berenger's in Eddie and the Cruisers.
Well, but it was the same year. Fun fact: Eddie and the Cruisers and The Big
Hold on.
Chill came out in the
Let me
same
see
year.
if I still got it then. I'm gonna say 1980. Am I within
You
two
were
years?
alive. No,
So it's what, like 83, 84?
83.
Yeah. That's
You were there.
bad. I haven't been quizzed for a while. I used to be able to.
His what he said, if I still got it, is normally if you tell my brother a movie, he is within a year or two, if not right on the money of what year it was released.
A lot I can
I'm good
say the
about.
month, but I'm not gonna
I'm good with
prove it.
casts. He's good with years of movies.
Oh,
I'm
I'm.
normally like, oh, so and so's in this, 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 and this.
If
He's good with
anybody
the
ever
years.
listens to this podcast that is a celebrity, like, do not be at all upset with me if I call you like Mac from It's Always Sunny. Like, I know you're Rob McElhenney because of Wrexham, but I didn't
Oh.
until Wrexham came out. So,
But anyways, so Eddie and the Cruisers. So he was talking about this movie. He explains it. The plot was maybe not necessarily 100% correct. And so the idea was he was going to explain a movie that he hasn't seen in a really long time. And then we were going to watch it, and I was going to say what actually happens in the movie. The problem is, there weren't going to be like a ton of movies where my brother had like seen
not
it,
seen them in a long time.
yeah, or seen it and I hadn't seen it. And so we were like, what if instead we just talk about movies that we loved growing up that like people don't talk about necessarily like on whole podcast episodes? And so we're starting it with Raiders because of Indiana
Doc
Jones and the
Ock.
Dial of Destiny. What about Doc Ock?
That's why we're starting with Raiders because Doc Ock's in it.
Because of Alfred Molina.
Isn't that
Like
what?
isn't that his first role too? Isn't that like
That I don't
the
know, but
first?
Alfred Molina is so memorable because of two things. When Indy's like standing there with like figuring out the I think it's when he's figuring out the weight of the bag and they cut
Uh-huh.
the Molina and he's like,
Or no, because he gets the dirt. He goes like this to the dirt at one
yeah.
point.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I'm saying. But he's like he's
yeah.
got like that and then when Indy's like I mean like a lot of like the argument which I'm not getting into here because like you don't have Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford or Indiana like you don't have Raiders of the Lost Ark without Indiana Jones but there's the argument that like all of that crap would have happened anyways without Indiana Jones like they would have all ended up dead in the desert anyways like he doesn't
Mhm.
actually do anything and it's like yeah he does he trusts Alfred Molina
And
and
Alfred Molina betrays him
and
and
then
leaves him, and he has to
and
go
then
run and do
because
the
of
thing.
that he knows to get out of there and then you meet Belloc. There is nothing that
Well,
you can possess that I cannot take.
and that is true.
There we go.
But all right,
Finally.
to start, to start, Patrick, what is your favorite thing about Indiana Jones, just as a whole?
Indiana Jones.
No, like I'll start, and then you'll see what
Okay,
I'm asking.
I got you. I got you. It is when he travels somewhere and they show the map with the red line. I swear to God.
Good.
That's my favorite thing about Indiana Jones.
Just
And when this new one comes out with is it James Mangold,
yeah.
yeah, like, dude, I don't care if, like, I know that, like, the internet is gonna be pissed about whatever because that's what the internet does. But if he has a map and a red line and Phoebe
You're like it's good.
Waller-Bridge is with him, like, yeah, I'm good. If you
See,
want
the
to
thing is,
redo the whole thing, it's like, yeah, you can be mad about it, go ahead, but we still have the movies. Like, they don't disappear.
no,
They didn't get ashed or snapped, dusted. There we go.
the blip. That was my favorite thing about um all the reviews that I've only read headlines because I don't want spoiled. And all of the headlines are like, they're disjointed, and sometimes parts we don't know why we're here. And I was like, oh, so you mean like an Indiana Jones movie where all of a sudden you're like in some library, you're like, I don't know why I'm here. He's going down. I'm like, great, it's Indiana Jones. He knows why he's there. That's all I need. I don't need to know why he flew across countries to go into like a library and get some book that told him to go back to where he was the first place. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's what he does.
the Muppets already spelled it out. Like, you remember the Jason Segel Muppet movie?
Yeah.
They travel the exact same way in that movie as Indiana Jones, and they're like, it's the fastest way to travel. Like,
Just
it is.
it's a map.
You play the theme song, Indiana fucking Jones, and then you put a red line on a map and you're there. Takes
Yeah,
like 30 seconds.
by the end of this podcast, I am going to make you sing your whole song, but and you can say your spiel with it,
It's
but
not the
save it.
same. It's not the same every time. I just make up whatever comes on the top of
But
my
you have
head.
to
He's
explain.
got whips and a satchel, a hat that's called a fedora.
That's at the end, Patrick.
Oh, sorry.
No, but but see, mine. I love how there's two things about Indiana Jones as a character and a franchise I love very much, and it is he always makes a goddamn entrance every single time. He's like underneath a hat, and then he turns around, or
The
in
shadow at
I
Mary
think it's in the
Ravenwood's
rain.
bar.
Yeah, but he had already been introduced. I mean, the first time you
Yeah,
see
but
Indiana
that's
Jones in
why
a movie,
Steven
he has it.
Spielberg picked that outfit, him and George Lucas, is so they could do that shot. And it is awesome. Like, I mean,
And I
they
think
say it in all the documentaries.
well, it's what's it
Or
called?
the documentary, I should be
Is it
accurate.
Raiders? Is when he turns around. I think it's Temple of Doom where he's in the rain.
No,
Is it?
wait. Okay, if you're talking about first appearances,
Yes, the first time you see Indiana Jones, there's
Raiders,
always something.
Raiders, he's in the jungle, and I believe he's like this.
No,
Okay.
it's from the back and he turns.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
You're right.
he's the back. His
But Last Crusade is the rain because he's on the boat.
okay,
It belongs in
that's
a
right.
museum, and then Temple of Doom, which is was my least favorite when I was a kid, but
Isn't
is
Temple of Doom
far
in
from
the tuxedo?
that.
Isn't he
Yeah,
in
it's
the
Club
white with the
Obi-Wan.
red flower? Yeah, but I think he's in the tuxedo already.
Wait, is there copyright
Which
issues?
you're you
Anything
humming a song,
goes.
and then I like in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because it's the same thing where he is looking down and he looks up and it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, with
Um,
that. Oh God, I'm so bad with names. The guy that's
Shia LaBeouf,
no, no, no.
Mutt Williams.
No, the guy, not his buddy that triple betrays
Oh,
him.
you mean the guy from Black Widow, the man who
Oh yeah, yeah,
turns all
yeah.
the Black Widows. It's Ray.
Ray.
Hold on.
It's not Ray Wise because Ray Wise is a Canadian masterpiece maker
It. Oh my god, I keep thinking. Hold on. Oh my god, what is his name?
from Twin Peaks.
Ray Winstone.
Yes, yes. Where he's
Yeah,
like, you
he.
can't hit me because I smell a certain way, and then she's like, I just broke my nose with your fist. You
But
picked the movie that I just spoiled.
anyways, Raiders. So when we were growing up, here's a little backstory about me and my brother. Our dad was Scottish and could not fight a human to save his life. Like if he was in a verbal fight with someone, he
Yeah,
would shut down and just
physical
go.
fight, he's
Oh
fine.
yeah, but verbal fight. If he was fighting with someone, he would go woo, woo,
Well,
and he
I mean,
couldn't form words.
he's as fine as a guy with one good leg and placed elbows
At
and a
least,
collapsed
um,
ankle could be.
but in a physical fight. But like, and our mom is Italian, so she would just like start fighting, and he had no chance. So,
Actually, a relative talked about like it's sort of like similar to the speech from Ralph Macchio and my cousin Vinny about how the
uh,
Gagliardos are arguers.
that's
She called it the
accurate.
Gagliardo family curse. Actually, is what she called it, and it is so strong that even Leishmans aren't spared.
Correct. But she was like everything had to be in its place or she would yell. So my brother had the idol from Raiders of the Lost
I'll be
Ark,
right
which
back.
is over there. And one time my mom my parents got divorced. My mom was away at New York for a work trip, and me and my brother were home. And he went, Rachel, I'm gonna hide this in the kitchen and see how long it takes Mother to find it. Oh my god. Um, this is what. Wait, this is what he hid.
The Belloc.
That is what he does. But like, so that idol, hold it up. He put that on top of like it was not at eye
The
level
cabinets.
to
The
yeah, it was
top
on
of
top of the
cabinets in the
cabinets.
kitchen. People know what they
It was
look like.
very high up. She walked in the house and goes, "What's that?" Like I saw it within 2 seconds.
It's a fertility idol, dog.
But she did leave it up.
Until I
In her
left, and I was
defense,
worried that I wasn't going to get it back. Like it became part of the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like the source wall.
she left it up there. She was like, "It's fine." And I thought she was gonna be like, "Take it down," and I was like, "I guess the idol is just living up there." But, anyways, yeah, this movie in general means a lot to I think both of us because Patrick will not call it Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost
It's
Ark
not.
because it is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That would be why. Hey, so
Yeah,
Rachel, here you go. You ready?
yeah, uh huh. Oh my god, you have to
Hold on.
turn around. He was there. You go.
I'm doing all of them. Hey, hold on. It belongs in a museum.
It was the rain.
Yeah, I love this hat.
And then it's this one. Um, the but my other favorite thing about Indiana Jones is how no matter what, he doesn't have a shirt on.
He has a shirt on.
No, he loses his shirt every single movie at some point or another.
Are you talking about when she's tending to his wounds and he's like,
In
it's
this
not
movie,
about the years, kid, it's the mileage?
in this movie, in Temple of Doom, it rips off. He basically
No,
just,
it doesn't
like, rips
rip off. They whip him so badly that it just like is in tatters.
It's in
He
tatters,
actually
but it's
puts
like
it back on when Short
in
Round burns
tatters.
him. But he's not shirtless. On a
Patrick,
technicality, that is a shirt.
barely. It is barely a shirt.
And when is
My
he
point,
shirtless in The Last Crusade?
when he's with, or he's in the robe in Last Crusade, but it's open. Like it's okay.
I think you're confusing Harrison Ford with William Shatner.
No, let me rephrase. His chest is always exposed, and apparently, the one spoiler I did hear about in Dial of Destiny is that 80-year-old Harrison Ford is shirtless because some journalist asked him about it and could not keep her, like, she was losing her mind because he's shirtless and he's hot in her eyes. She was like, "Oh, Harrison Ford."
I remember, I can't name a source. If you're out there, I apologize, but this is like 20 years ago, like after Last Crusade, but before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I read a story where it was a disappointing story, but also full of hope because it was like basically like Han Solo's an idiot. Like, I don't like Han Solo. I would love to do another Indiana Jones movie. In fact, I've been keeping in shape all these years on the hope that I could do another Indiana Jones movie. Like, but it's like, dude, you're Han Solo. Like, you're not Indiana Jones. He
was an idiot. He said that in his mind, the way he viewed Han Solo was like he thought Han Solo should have died in Return of the Jedi because Han Solo, like, his arc ended at a, like, he thought his arc was over. That's why he liked coming back for The Force Awakens because he was like,
because they told him he would die.
I wanted.
Spoiler.
No, he's like, that's the arc I wanted Han to have in Return of the Jedi. Like, I think that's that is what this character needed. That's what he said. Indiana Jones, he just really, really loves. That's why I was getting mad where all these people were saying, like, why did he come back to Indiana Jones? Oh, the money. I'm like, no, he just really likes being Indiana Jones.
The dude has multiple airplanes. I don't think it's for the money.
No, it's he.
Come on, man. He's married to Callista Flockhart, Ally McBeal.
She's still syndicated, technically.
Yeah, plus she was just in Supergirl as Cat Grant.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I did not. I love Callista Flockhart. I'm not gonna lie. She's great.
But
that's the real gem of that relationship is Callista Flockhart.
Is Callista Flockhart? Yeah. She was with him at Cannes for this movie, and he's like smiling at her, and I was like, this is weirdly cute for like a relationship that has been happening for like almost 20 years at this point.
Cannes.
Because I was like a kid.
Isn't it French, right?
Yes.
So like, shouldn't they like have it more French sounding? Like, you know, like Cannes.
That's what you think is French sounding? Oh, what is he fucking? That sounded like the Swedish chef.
Yeah, the Swedish chef is more like Durfy, dirty, dirty, dirty.
But
Ofen,
okay.
Durfin, Frieten, Spieten, Furten.
All right, so Raiders of
Ofen,
the Lost
Durfy,
Ark.
dirty, Furten.
Don't review it only as the Swedish chef.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, there's
the
a Fortin fall, and
so the we already talked about the beginning has Alfred Molina leading Harrison Ford in to get the idol,
more
and
like
he does
Harrison
the like
Ford's leading Alpha Merlina to his death,
that is true.
and the other
It
guy.
it has the like I know the now iconic part about this whole sequence is the boulder, but I
Uh,
think more about the switching. Like that thing is more iconic to me where he is like he has like the weighted thing
yeah, that's what I was just
and
gonna
he's
say.
like that's more iconic to me.
That's my favorite
Not
part of that whole sequence. Is the well that's part of it.
oh yeah,
That's
cuz
the
he's like
part. That's the
worried it's not going to
tension
work.
of it. Is that like he's just like it's just hilarious because it's like dude, that's Doc Ock, you know. And he was just like the voice of someone on like Rick and Morty. Like Alfred Molina is awesome. If you like look up the crap that he's in, like for every like Oscar worthy performance, there's like five where he's like the voice of a talking dildo in Rick and
Well, I
Morty.
told you I've told you, but I mean, people listening to this don't know this. I've told you this, but when I met Alfred Molina after a show, it was like when I was probably like 20,
Oh, that's
and
when you were hanging
I was
out
in
at stage
school.
doors.
Yeah, but I was in school for theater, and I said I wanted to be an actor, and he was like, "Here's my advice to you: never say no to a role." And years later, when I interviewed him for work, he goes, "Did I say that?" And I said, yeah. He went, "That sounds like me." I was
Shatner,
like,
dude, do you know like why like Shatner is in like lawyer commercials to this day, like in his
because he never
90s?
says no to
It's
a role.
because after Star Trek, he like lived in his pickup truck, like in between like guest stints on freaking Columbo. Yeah, it's just one
Hmm.
more thing. And the Love Boat with Gavin McLeod. Like like after he got out of that and like the TJ Hooker and Star Trek the Motion Picture rolled around, like Shatner swore he would turn down nothing. Like with the if the money is right, like you could still get Shatner in your project. If you
That's why
don't
he's in
believe
the
me,
Price
go
Land the
on
bookstore.
Amazon and just type in William Shatner. And there's going to be movies where he's like with Jerry Ryan with a shotgun, like fighting the demons from hell. I don't remember what it's called, but like I definitely remember looking at it. Like I, I, I have this guilty pleasure that I love really shitty like B movies, and I'm not. If there's nudity, that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like I'm talking about like Tremors 7, like where they're like using CGI that like my daughter puts on her kid's fire tab. Like, it's just the greatest stuff ever. Hence why I don't like Star Trek all that much. So I'm not a big Star Trek fan.
Yeah, they don't know that about you, so you just sound like you don't like Star Trek.
I don't.
Right above where he's sitting is about 7 or 8 model Star Trek Enterprises. How many
Anyway,
of them are there?
Raiders of the
How
Lost
many do you
Ark.
have?
I
Yeah,
have every Enterprise up to the E, and that is because they just came out with the F and G like 2 weeks ago. But I mean, there's gonna be people. Oh, the F was in Star Trek Online. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, man, I don't play games that much, and I just like the movies and the stories. So
and
get
also
off
my
my back.
niece's initials
Yeah, I don't have
are
social media, so good
LAL.
luck making me yelling at me.
Jesus. But yeah, so this was all because Alfred Molina never says no to a job.
Yeah,
But
but Alpha Molina, the man.
and then he dies. And here's the thing I like about Indiana Jones. He wants to make sure
I went to put the spear through his eye, and I knocked my headset out.
uh, the uh, Indiana Jones thinks everything should belong into a museum. He will eventually go back to his classroom where he's teaching some people things, and then suddenly he's back in the middle of things because he found out there's something he has to go and find. And it is why I like this franchise is I don't need to know the ins and outs. I know I will eventually figure out why he's going somewhere because he'll tell me why he's
Or
there.
or Porkins from Rogue Squadron will roll up and send him on the mission. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's Porkins. Like I don't know that for sure, but you know who I'm talking about
Yeah.
from X-Wing. I'm
Yeah.
not making a fat joke. That's his character's name. If I believe it to be his character's name.
You're like, that's the character name. Don't cancel
Yeah.
me.
Don't yell at
No,
me.
but
Yell at George Lucas.
and George Lucas. Well, it is funny because I do think before we really, really get into it, I have to say Harrison Ford should not be Indiana Jones because famously George Lucas didn't even want Harrison Ford to be Han Solo because he didn't want to reuse actors,
Like
and
Martin
then he reused.
Scorsese. Yeah,
Well, he just
it
didn't want
doesn't
to
work
reuse
out.
them.
Yeah, except for like his first three movies had Harrison Ford in them.
Well, no, that's the whole thing
Well,
is
except for THX 1138, that was Robert
uh
Duvall.
Harrison Ford was in American Graffiti,
Correct,
and
with Ron
then
Howard.
George Lucas did not want to see anyone that he worked with in American Graffiti for Star Wars and or for A New Hope at the time.
Yeah,
And
and then
then the
Harrison Ford
casting
did the script
director,
reading and basically Roy
no,
Kenned himself in the role.
what happened was the uh, the casting director wanted Harrison Ford. George Lucas was like, I'm not going to see him. So
No,
she
it
was
was
like,
more
you know
like,
what we need?
I'm not gonna see him. Besides, my universe is vast, and I could put him in somewhere else.
Well, no, but she was like,
We'll name
the
his
casting
character Kiki
director.
Mundi
Jesus.
Alfonso Ribeiro. Oh, sorry.
The casting director wanted him, so what they made him do is like they hired Harrison Ford to come do carpentry and then pretended that the script reader didn't come and then was like,
I
"Oh
didn't know
no, the
that part.
script reader." Yeah, it was like
I
they
knew
really
that like
faked
he
it
got
out.
the role because he was reading he
Yeah,
was
it
reading
was
with people.
from what I know, it was they like tricked George Lucas into
Is this
seeing him.
the carpentry that he does in the Speedo?
That was for People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, I think, photo shoot.
When?
Um,
Like
in the '90s, I
the
think.
90s? I don't
I
think
think
so.
that's either
Harrison
'80s or '90s.
he looks 80s like like the Witness Harrison Ford.
Well, The Witness was not that long. I think it actually was between Indiana Joneses.
The Witness was definitely between Raiders and Temple.
It's 1985.
Yeah, I know. I actually
The
was gonna
Witness.
say that. That's why I'm all cocky. I was gonna be like, it's 85.
Yeah, Witness was '85. But
Am I
yeah,
right, Danny Glover?
in that one, I think so because what's his
Danny
name
Glover's the bad
is
cop.
yes, and
Yep.
Viggo Mortensen is in it,
Wow, that's right. That
and
guy's ageless.
Kelly McGillis is Rachel because that was one of like in a series of movies where he just said my name a bunch. Because
What did you do?
Blade
Record
Runner.
all the times he says Rachel in that, and
No,
then like
it was just
that's your
shocking.
sleeping like soothing sounds like Rachel. Hey kid,
Rachel,
Rachel.
you got to point to do this thing.
Just by the way, any impression I do of Harrison Ford is Mark Hamill's impression of Harrison Ford. Just so
That
you
is
know,
true.
because Mark
Um,
Hamill is a personal hero of mine, and not because of Luke Skywalker.
just Mark Hamill's a human man.
No, because Mark Hamill is a prolific voice actor. Him,
I'm
all those
aware.
guys. I know. I'm just. I know you're aware. I'm not
Telling the
mansplaining.
people,
Yeah.
telling the people of the listeners. But that, anyways, all of this was because I was talking about my favorite part of how this movie just jumps back and forth because it's like they do this, he has the idol, and then if I remember, doesn't it just like go to him teaching and the girl is like, I
No.
love you on her eyelids?
No. That's where Belloc rolls up, and he's like, "Anything that you have, that you
Yeah.
possess, I take." And
I'm
then,
talking about after this. Isn't it
well,
like
no,
Belloc
he
comes
runs
up?
away from the tribesmen that are shooting the poison darts
Uh-huh.
at him, and then he goes
He gets
into
on the
Jock's
plane.
airplane. And snakes, I hate snakes. Like it's all character, like establishing the character.
I forgot about the plane part where he's
That like
screaming about the
Indy's
snakes.
the
Because
like
it's
what it establishes is that like Indy is like smart, but he's got like no backup. That like he's like the underdog. That but like there's always someone that's got like a bigger force that he's always going to contend with. And most importantly, He's scared of snakes.
Which I will say, I don't like snakes in general. I don't like snakes
Who
and I don't like
does?
sharks. Our cousin, do you remember when our cousin had
You mean
snakes at
Steven?
grandpa's house? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
And guess
like,
what? I didn't go there.
yeah, but
I
that
was
wasn't because of the
afraid.
snakes.
It was. Dad tried to take me. I was like, there's a snake. I'm good.
Okay, but
But
generally speaking, snakes aren't everybody's favorite.
fair. But I.
As Dean Martin said, there is something for everybody. Or I know that's not right. Hold on. Somewhere there is a snake for someone. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's a
Anyways.
snake for us.
Yeah. I think
Um,
it's a sexual song though. Anyways, go on.
Jesus Christ. But the I watching Indiana Jones my whole life on like a regular TV, I was never that afraid of the snakes until I watched Raiders on when they re-released it recently and I went and it is one of the scariest scenes when he falls into the pit of the snakes. I was like I don't like this. I'm like used to watching it on a small TV where it's not that scary, but in a big movie theater I was terrified of the snakes.
I have what I like to refer to as a healthy fear of snakes. I'm not terrified of them, but if I see one, I don't bother it. I just kind of go, you
Yeah.
do you, and I'll do me over here.
You mean famously when there was a snake in Dad's backyard and I left you? Because you went like, be careful, there's a snake, and I was at his door before you turned back around. I went,
Well,
bye. I abandoned you. I abandoned Mom. Dad got bit
Rachel,
by a snake.
I almost choked to death, and you didn't even look up from your phone, and all you
I
did
didn't.
was go, you okay? I'm like literally choking to death. I did the Heimlich on myself. That's how I
And I
live.
just sat there.
And
And
you
then
were
we
like,
watched Bill and Ted.
hold on, Josh Groban just tweeted me
No,
something.
we were watching Bill and Ted. I was waiting to start it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's right. You were mad because
I was like, I
like
need to start Bill and Ted.
Prison Ted is about to fight regular Ted. What's wrong with you?
But yeah, I mean, it's healthy to have a fear of snakes. You were dealing with the birth of your first child, and Dad got bit by one,
A copperhead.
a copperhead, and he just casually took him. I no, I wouldn't casually take myself anywhere. I'd be having hysterics, and ambulance would have came and got me.
Not only that, he had chemo the week before. Got bit by a snake, a copperhead snake, and like just like, yeah, can you believe it?
We were like,
Like, no, what
and
I
you were
can't
like,
believe is that you're still wearing flip flops to go get your
to check
mail
your
in the
mail.
woods. Yeah.
When it was funny because you were like, all right, everyone, we'll call you. Don't call us. And I had to call you and be like,
Yeah.
so Dad got bit by a
Yeah.
snake.
You know
So
how you know how Dad said he was dying? He's double dying now.
now there's a snake involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, all this to say, I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
I don't like them. But yeah, so I forgot about the plane thing. After the plane thing is when it goes to the most relatable character I've ever seen in movies, which is the girl that wrote "I love you" on her eyelids and just is like sitting like this repeatedly in the middle of class.
Actually, I like the kid that brings the apple all timidly and then
Just,
what's the guy's name's not Malcolm.
oh, his like professor buddy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm so bad with names. Marcus
Um,
Brody. It's Marcus Brody.
yeah,
If
I
you
was looking up
watch
the
that
cast so I
scene,
knew the actors.
the dude walks up and it is a guy, I'm pretty sure, and he's all like,
Yeah, he
and he
just puts
like,
it down.
and then Marcus just walks up and he's like, so you got those pieces? And then Indy's like, I had it. It was in my hand. I might be doing Last Crusade. I purposely didn't watch this movie because before the review because I wanted to keep the spirit. But I mean, like I watched it like 6 months ago. Like it's like I mean,
I've seen this movie so many
it's one of
times now.
those that I'm just like I'm bored. Raiders. There's
But what's
only
funny
one
is
movie that is probably watched more than Raiders in my lifetime.
it's Wrath of Khan.
I hate that piece of garbage.
Oh my god. Anyways, the what I like too, though, is it took me until I was older to realize this. No one calls him Henry, or they just call
Hey,
him Dr. Jones.
or Junior.
No, but that's not until Last Crusade. I'm talking about there are two movies where his name is Dr. Jones or Indy, and that's it. And then all of a sudden in Last Crusade, it's like his name is Dr. Henry Jones Jr.,
No,
and no
actually, it
one
goes.
knows it.
They go, Junior. Why do you call him Junior? And Sean Connery goes, Henry Jones
Jones
Junior.
Jr. But it
But
is funny because I'm like, so did no
dude,
one know his name was Henry at
yeah,
school?
but
Like,
just
what did
think
they call
about it
him?
from your own perspective. Our father's first name is William, or was William. And unless you had his driver's license or went to the Price is Right with him, you would never know that his name wasn't Pat Leishman.
I understand, but you're
So
missing my point because
no.
if you need to have a license to apply to be a professor, you have to have some form of identification. So those people would know his name was Henry.
So you're thinking that there was like a high standard of checks and balances in the Great
At this
Depression,
professor,
during the Great Depression, followed up by World War II. They're like, hold on,
what's your first name?
Professor. I don't think you're actually from Indiana, first of all.
That was the dog's name. Um,
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like I could explain it to you. Like, first of all, it's a fucking movie, so it's a
it
suspension of
just made me
disbelief.
one. I needed to
But
know.
second,
Did
if you
he?
need a logical thing, there was the stock market crash, followed by the Great Depression, followed by World War II.
They were
There's
like, it's
three good
fine.
reasons why no one really gave a shit what his first name was. They're like,
It's fine.
great, teach all these girls because all the guys are in Korea and and Germany and
Yeah,
all these places. Well, because Korea was after that. Like, I mean,
yeah.
there
Korea
was
was
just
right
like
after.
a war for like 15 years or something like that. I mean, I didn't live through it, obviously.
It was just a war, 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 war.
Right, but that's why
But
Indiana Jones is like, yeah, no, like Marcus. I mean, Marcus didn't even know. None of them knew, and they're his closest friends.
no one knew his name.
Yeah.
What's funny to me too
Imagine
is like,
Short Round trying to reconnect with Indiana Jones and he's on like Ancestry.com
or
and he's like,
or
who's
vice
this Henry?
versa,
Who's this Henry?
vice
I'm looking for
versa. Short Round has a name in everything other than the movie. Like if you look into any Indiana Jones lore, he has a name, and it's like, so, but Indiana Jones calls him Shorty. So if he would have to go, has anyone seen a small child that I called Short Round? I
Excuse
never
me.
knew his name.
Have you seen an Asian man in a Yankees hat that just says fortune and glory over and over again?
Yeah. And
Drives
he'll
cars with
scream,
boxes on his feet?
he'll scream, Dr. Jones.
Dr.
He's like,
Jones!
Dr. Jones. I like, the thing is, I like, I want him to come back because I think his name is Wan Lee. And I'm like, come
I
back
know.
and just be like, he appears and he's like, hi, my actual name is, because like in the, like, I think it's a comic series, I can't remember what it is, but like he has a name in every other piece of lore outside of Temple of Doom, which is crazy that
I
they didn't
wonder,
give
did
this
you?
child a name.
I wonder if I have a Short Round figure.
You don't, because I didn't get them yet, and I want a Short Round figure. And so I gave my brother, for context, guys, I got a lot of Indiana Jones toys, and I gave my brother some Indiana Jones figures. I gave you one Indiana Jones, but I kept the other ones. And then I kept the Good Marion and Sala, because I love Sala. Speaking of Sala,
What?
we're getting to the Sala part. So
Oh,
they find out that, isn't it like, doesn't Marcus talk to him about the Ark and how he's like, no, I think we found it.
Porkins.
That's what I'm. But it's at the
Marcus doesn't tell
meeting,
him. Marcus is like a couple of Men in Black types. I don't know what, like they're government
right?
guys,
Yeah, but I thought
and they
Marcus was
meet
at
in
the
that big
table.
lecture hall, and he gets the
Yeah,
big book, and he's like, "Here."
yeah. So Marcus was there.
Yeah, but Mark, you said Marcus told him. Marcus
Well,
listened.
Marcus is there.
Yeah,
Marcus was there, and they were talking about the Ark. And
and
so
then
then,
later they're at Indy's house,
yeah,
and
when he's
Indy's
packing.
like starting to get the things ready, and Marcus like rolls up, and he's like, "They're gonna send you," and he's like, "Oh, great, Marcus!" Like, like, and then that's Like he mentions whatever Marion Ravenswood's dad's name is, Herbert or whatever. I can't remember. Um,
Yeah.
Randolph Ravenwood.
Abner.
Abner, yes. It was one of those like guy is clearly born in the 1890s.
Abner.
Uh, yeah, but he would only been 40 if he was, so it was much earlier.
He was like 1870.
That would only have put him at 60, which, lifespans. Yeah, that's probably about right. And then he doesn't meet Sulla. He goes to Marion
Sala is at,
Ravenwood
yeah,
first.
then it's,
Then after they say that, and you get, I'm pretty sure you get the map with the lines.
yeah.
Or no, you don't. You don't. Like he just says, like, let's do it. And then the next thing is Marion Ravenwood's drinking
Ooh, she's drinking with
that.
she's fighting that guy.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it like a freckled, redheaded like dude in a room full of people that look like not like that at all? Like they have like dark hair and they look like they're like almost
Well,
stereotypical like
well,
Mongolians.
yeah, I mean, you mean stereotypical, like every Indiana Jones movie has
No, but
that
I'm
scene with
saying,
villain.
but like, isn't that first guy that she's drinking under the
Hold on.
table like? Because he's all like,
I don't remember. Who is this man? No, you know who he looks like? It looks like just like anyone from our hometown. It is like
Italian.
it's not, no. Like he looks like he's like a little Polish guy. Like he's real curly hair and he's like
It's
this.
red though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Okay.
like it's like an auburn color.
Yeah.
But you're just
But
like, why'd this guy
Marion
show up?
Marion Ravenwood drinks that guy under the table.
Oh, it's Harley Race.
That's Harley Race.
Yeah.
No freaking way. I am literally disappointed in myself that I did not know that is NWA champion Harley Race.
I think so, or
King of
it's
the
someone
Ring
making
Harley Race.
a joke.
Yeah, it
It
has
says,
to
oh
be.
wait,
There's no
hold
way that's
on.
Harley Race.
The rat.
Harley
Raiders
Race
of
has a
historical
mustache, first
fact.
of all.
Hold on.
And I would not never insult Harley Race like that.
Someone on Twitter said, a shame. I'm clicking on the tweet. We're doing investigative journalism as we go. Shame not enough people talk about Harley Race's cameo in the drinking scene in Raiders.
That's BS. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Hey, malarkey. But so who knows if
That's
that's
good.
actually
I
him?
was legitimately upset that I did not know that was Harley Race. Like that would have been one of those Easter eggs that I can't believe I didn't know that for the last 40 years.
Hold on, I'm going to IMDb. Oh, he
43.
died not that long ago. Rest in peace.
Yeah, like 6 months. I want to say October or
No, it was
no.
2019.
Yeah, October was a different person that I'm not going to get in it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It just, unless IMDb didn't classify him as being an Indiana Jones,
It's bullshit.
it is not him,
Trust
but
me.
it looks like him.
Yeah. Harley Race, first of all, in that era would have been the NWA champion with a mustache, and he would not have, like, that's not what wrestlers did.
I mean, we can easily look at this man's name. It's in the credits of Raiders of the Lost Ark somewhere.
What is it, Drunken Buffoon? Is that what he's credited under?
It's probably like Drinking Contest Man.
So, anyways,
Or Drinking Man.
Marion drinks him under the table. Then comes the Nazis.
Yeah. Because they want
There's a
the.
piece that your father collected. She's like, oh, there's lots of pieces. I don't know. See,
This is me
like
doing
that.
this thing.
Yeah,
Because it's her necklace.
yeah, like, but she keeps it under her
Yeah.
dress, but she's like holding the chain while she's talking to him, and she kicks everyone out, and that's when you get the shadowy silhouette, Steven Spielberg's
Magnum opus.
money shot, if you will.
No. But it is one of those, like, the more you watch this movie now, like, I'm interested for when you show Lexi, her reaction to these, because like I just watched them with my friend who had never seen them, like because before the movie's coming out, Marika had never seen Indiana Jones, and so me and Leah were like, oh, we should watch all the Indiana Jones movies, and
How?
she
It's
she
like
just hadn't,
it's like
but
growing
her
up
reaction to
in
them is
America and not
very
knowing what baseball is.
she I think she liked Last Crusade the best, which I was like, hell yeah. But
1989 is a big year.
Last Crusade's the best. But it's I'm interested to see how people react to these who don't know them, because like obviously she knew that shot because it's been around, but like Lexi when she's little won't know.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to kind of see her reaction to that kind of stuff, and then how it, like when she realizes like how people react to it, the difference.
Yeah, I often wonder if I should show her movies in the order they were released or like their order. Like Star Wars is the big one for me. Like,
Star
do you
Wars
go
is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
fun.
7, 8, 9, or do you go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2,
No,
3, 7, 8, 9
no, you do machete order, which keeps it hidden that Luke and Leia are siblings,
until Return of
and
the Jedi?
keeps it hidden that the Emperor and Palpatine are the same.
How?
Like you don't
Like
know that, because my friend, we
when the
watched it.
Phantom Menace came out, the people never put those two together because, like, I remember
I think it's just
immediately
people
being
who
like,
didn't.
"Oh, that's the Emperor."
Well, I think it's just people who didn't know, because like I knew, but I had seen those movies so many times. Like I knew,
Plus,
I
the
was like, oh,
Emperor
that's
is the
Anne.
best villain of all time. I love the Emperor.
Yeah, you like Rise of Skywalker, don't you?
No, I like the
I'm
Emperor in
I'm
Rise of Skywalker.
I am Poe Dameron. Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow he's here.
Well, if you played Fortnite, you'd know.
Oh my goodness. But
JJ with the tie-in and the lens flares and the
but
viral marketing.
ay ay ay. It's not that Palpatine's not in it. But
Hold on, let me do my impression of JJ Abrams. He beatboxes in microphones when he's directing movies. You should watch
oh, that's
like
right.
some behind the
I
yeah.
did know that. I was like,
I would
why are
be
you
so
beatboxing after a
irritated
hug?
all day long. Like I'm trying to think, and this idiot is beatboxing. Why don't you shut up, JJ? Let me light this shot. Oh, good for you.
Anyways, back to Indiana Jones. Uh, so Marion though, I love Marion Ravenwood. She is my favorite. Um, so I don't like, as you were pointing out earlier, about Willie and Nazi girl from Last Crusade.
Oh, what the hell's her name?
I think it starts with it. No,
It's like Hilda, Helga,
Elsa. It's
Elsa.
Elsa.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Um, yeah, I think she spells it the same way. No, Ilsa's with an I. She's with
I
an
think she spells it
what?
Nazi.
What?
That's how you spell. She spells Elsa.
No,
Nazi.
no.
Spell it.
Oh, it's a Nazi.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Actually,
Um,
though, there's very not to jump movies, but there's a lot of clues in there that she's not a Nazi either. She's just
Jesus.
she's just in it for herself. Like
Yeah, but she's
one of
siding with the
the
Nazis,
keys
so
for me is when she's crying. She's siding with the Nazis because she thinks that's how she wins. But when they're burning the books and she's sitting there crying, that tells me she's not a Nazi.
yeah. But I
She's
think
in it for her own self interests.
if you side with the Nazis, I don't necessarily trust you.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm big on redemption arcs, and like she had none.
I I cut it at Nazis.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't get a
yeah,
redemption arc.
yeah. Like even though you're not a Nazi, you still help them.
You helped them.
That's yeah,
So
like that's you might as well be a Nazi at that point.
I I do think it's very funny because
It's like
I
no, several
recently.
Jewish. I'm friends with several Jewish people. I'm not a Nazi.
No,
I
you're
have
a
several
Nazi.
Jewish friends.
I think you're still a Nazi. But I
Yeah,
do.
but you gave that guy your car to go run over some Nazis or some Jews.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're a Nazi.
you're a Nazi,
Yeah,
Elsa.
that was the
Sorry about
original.
it.
Several of my friends are.
Yeah, it was Ilsa
Yeah,
in Last Crusade.
yeah.
No, but she. The thing is, with like these movies, I saw some. I forget what it was, but people were like, "Oh, it was the line in the trailer for Dial of Destiny where they were like, "Oh, I stole it from you, and you stole it from me," and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like, "And I stole it from you, capitalism," and was like making a joke, and all these people online were like, Indiana Jones is woke." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you miss where he literally punched Nazis? Like he literally punched people dressed as Nazis. Like he was like, boosh, and it happened from in every single movie, and in uh Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he punched Russians who were the bad guys in that era of time. That was the Cold War, and he was punching the Russians.
Yeah.
He punches the bad guys. Anyways,
No, like I have thoughts on that, but this is a
the
lighthearted
Russians.
podcast. No, just that the like the woke part of your statement, which is she's a successful person, so people are gonna hate her. Also, a successful woman, they're gonna hate her even more,
Yeah,
simply for those two facts. And it's woke. Why? Because she made a joke that people got. Yeah, like that's how I feel about that. Like it's like, oh my God, like
oh, it's
is
the
it worth it to
dumbest.
be successful? Because like everybody is gonna hate you for being successful. Like I don't know why people don't like want to kill Ryan Reynolds. Like he's
Because
an
he's
awesome person that does awesome things, is super successful, and is nice. That is like the recipe for people to want to kill him.
because here the saving grace is he is Deadpool, and people love Deadpool,
Yeah.
but I
I
think
actually
that
like Free Guy. I was just thinking about watching that again. Like, I'm
I
a
love Free
huge
Guy.
Ryan Reynolds fan.
This is now a Ryan Reynolds podcast, where we're
I
just talking about Ryan
that's
Reynolds movies.
that's episode 2. We're gonna talk about Green Lantern.
Oh my god. But
Hey, that movie gets a bad rap.
anyways,
It
Marion
sucks way
Ravenwood,
worse than they say. All right, anyways.
Marion Ravenwood.
Yes,
Uh, good.
Marion Ravenwood. She kicks out the Nazis. Harrison Ford rolls up. The Nazis come back. There's a big shootout. The Staff of Raw charm that I have over here. That's why I'm pointing over there. I'm not going to bring that over because it actually has a certificate of authenticity, and I am in my 40s, but I have been laid, but I still have,
You still have that.
yeah. And uh, German dude burns half of it in his hand. It's the wrong size. It's supposed to be like this. Um, but And that's when Marion Ravenwood grabs it and she's got it in her hand and she's like, "No, Jones, we're partners." But this is the part I would like to talk about why Temple of Doom is a perfect prequel. Because what happens in Temple of Doom? He meets an incredibly irritating lady.
Who's
I
now
don't care.
Mrs. Spielberg?
Yeah, no, I mean Kate Capshaw, the person, amazing person. I've watched several interviews with her. Winnie Scott, the character,
Yeah.
one of the worst ever. Like she just screams. That's all she does.
Uh huh.
She, and I know Kate Capshaw, her personality. She had to just be like, can't she do something for herself? Like, can't she just be a little heroic? But then you also have Short Round that Indiana Jones hangs out with, who is definitely underage and is put in way too many dangerous situations. The kid is driving a car in Thailand at the beginning of
He's
that movie, or
driving.
or Shanghai, wherever they are. He's driving a car with boxes on his feet, running over rickshaw drivers. Like, I think Temple of Doom was Indiana Jones's maturing movie because he never brings up Fortune and Glory again, and every other movie after that is a sequel. I don't know about Dial of Destiny, but I would assume it's a sequel, considering I think the Beatles are in it. Um, but my point is I think Temple of Doom is why Indiana Jones treats Marion Ravenwood completely differently than what she's expecting him to treat because he's like, all right, this is another kid that I have messed up for life because of this, and I can't keep hooking up with these James Bond women that all they do is scream and yell at me and tell me they want me to die after I saved them from a crashing effing airplane. You know, like you're like, all I do is save this lady, and all she does is yell at me for like not doing it right. So
And then
I
Marion's
think
like,
Indy learns, and that's when he's like, well, I got to go find Abner Ravenwood. This is my chance to make things right with Marion. But he's still Indiana Jones, so he's not going to come in and just be all like, "Hey, I'm sorry." He's going to be Indiana Jones about it, you know, like. But that's why if you watch that movie, Indy, the way Indy acts consistently like throws her off. Like she thinks he's
mm,
going to do something else, and then he doesn't. He does something completely different. And I know that like Temple was after, but chronologically it's before. And I like to make this little like in like after all that, Indy's like, okay, that was a bad relationship, and I need to take better care of these kids that I keep picking up along with the strays, if you will. Let me get short round in a boarding school. I'm a bachelor that travels the globe and gets paid for it. I can afford this boarding school for shorty. And let me get Marion back to Hollywood and dump her ass. Because actually, I take that back. Marion Ravenwood totally dumped him.
yeah,
Because
100%.
And the reason why is because he was absent. Like, soon as they got back, and she's like, speed, like, oh, we were in this high intensity situation. Now we're in love. And then she got back, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Peru. I want to get this, Cordova's cross with my dad. So, and, and like, I don't think they ever broke up. I think just Marion Ravenwood, or I mean, hell, I just said it. Willie
Willie.
Scott, is just like singing in Vegas somewhere,
Good for her, as
because
long as it's not
because you know
like
what,
Indiana Jones.
anything goes.
I forgot about that whole number. But
Oh, well, that's the James Bond thing. That's why I mean, Indiana Jones to Steven Spielberg is James Bond. That's why
I
he got
know
Sean Connery to be his
that is
dad.
why,
But
that is
that
why,
Temple has that
two,
opening.
that is why, too, the Kingsman makes me so happy because the first Kingsman movie, they're the James Bond spies of England. And then when they come and meet the statesmen are like Indiana Jones and they're using whips and they're doing things like Indiana Jones. And it makes me very happy because I'm like, that's exactly why Indiana Jones was created because it was like James Bond, but for Americans. And then Kingsman continued that franchise.
The only good American was Jeff Bridges and Pedro Pascal.
No, Pedro Pascal was the villain.
No, but I'm saying like good.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
was like,
saying like bad guy, good guy. I'm saying like entertaining as that.
yeah, I was like, Whiskey was the bad guy in that
Yeah.
movie.
Jeff
Spoiler
Bridges,
alert.
I mean, like, you could be like, hey, you're going to be Bozo the Clown. He'll be like, all right, I'll kill it. I'm Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, and he would. You are
And
correct.
Pedro Pascal is slowly going up to that. And it's like, I like Channing Tatum, but like, that was basically Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, in any
He was
movie
also
where,
barely in that movie. He was in it
yeah,
for
but
like 2 minutes.
it's basically Channing Tatum in any movie where he's like a bro. Like,
That's true.
and he's a good actor, like, but like he has like a resting bitch face. Like he when he's a bro, like it's the same in every movie. Like he's the same amount of stupid, like.
Yeah,
But it's cool. He's successful. I am a failed filmmaker that's making a podcast with my sister. So who won?
Channing,
Yeah,
Channing.
Channing
But
Tatum.
so obviously, like they fight the Nazis. They a bunch of things happen that get them to Sala, who's Jonathan Rhys Davies.
I thought it was Reese,
That's what
like
I just said.
like not like Reece, like more like
Reese.
Reese.
It's Rhyse.
I know how it's spelled. I'm just saying, I thought it was more like Reese.
I
Speaking
think
of
it's just
which,
Reese.
documentary now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a send up on When We Were Kings, which is the George Foreman Muhammad Ali documentary, and I think it's called like When We Threw Stones. Okay, and it's about like Irish stone throwing, and Jonathan Rhys Davies is like a sports. reporter that's being interviewed for this documentary, and the other guy, oh God, I can't remember his. He's a knight. It's like Sir, but oh Jesus, I can't even think of any movies he was in. But he's British. It was called When We Threw Stones. But anyways, it's great. It's they're these two bickering reporters, and oh goodness, he was in the guy I'm talking about was the president in the GI Joe movies. Um,
Jonathan Price?
yes, there it is. Pyrce or
Yes.
Pryce. Yeah, is he a knight? He's a knight, right?
No.
Sir Johnny Price.
Nope. He's just Jonathan Price. Just Jonathan.
He's good
Um,
though. But
but
you got to watch
anyways,
that.
I
Everyone should
will.
watch that documentary now. It is, I mean, they're all good, but that one is a standout for me.
But anyways, I love Sala.
Oh, yeah. Sala's the best.
And so the
Indeed.
whole thing is that Sala helps get him set up, but like basically this whole part is like, oh, they're trying to escape because the Nazis and Balak
No,
are still coming for him.
Beloche. His name is Beloche. Beloche. Belloc. Belloc. That is also a favorite scene of mine because Indy's like, son of a, he's got the monkey, the whole deal.
Yeah, the monkey which dies. That's my favorite. Another
Well, yeah,
scene
bad dates.
Another scene where Harrison Ford's shirt is just open for no reason is when Marion and him go to
No
Solly's house.
reason. They're in the
It's just
freaking desert.
she's in pants. She's in a long sleeve shirt and pants, and he is just
But
open
the
shirt and a
red pants,
big
right, and the white shirt.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a red and white shirt. But yeah, but
Mm-mm.
with the monkey, and then she hides in like the
It's a
wicker.
barrel,
I know. I was
a
trying to think
wicker
of what it was.
barrel
It was like wicker.
basket, like the
Yes.
clothes baskets.
Yeah, she's in one of those because eventually, like, they all have to go running.
It's
They're
it's
being
a nice
chased.
twist on the whole like foot chase where someone gets in a taxi and they're like, I need to find that taxi, and then they turn the corner and there's 100 taxis.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Like I gotta find that. Oh, everybody's doing their laundry today. Great.
Where she? Who knows? She gets taken because uh, Belloc is trying to hit on her eventually in the weird wedding dress nonsense.
It was his mother's. No, I don't think it was. No, it's the
No.
booze. The booze was his family's distillery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
Although, I
been
don't like it
drinking
anyways.
this. Ivan Ooze, by the way.
You have a what?
Ivan Ooze. That's
Oh.
Belloc.
I thought you said I have a news, and I was like, that's a weird way of saying that. But
I
now
have
I
a
understand.
news. Belloc is Ivan Ooze in Power Rangers.
I was like, huh? But yeah, basically, as I said earlier about Indiana Jones, where you don't know why you're doing things, and then you're like, I'm on this journey. This whole time is like, they're there. Saul is like, I'm gonna help you, and then all of a sudden, Marion gets kidnapped. Indy has to shoot the guy because Harrison Ford had dysentery, and then
No,
Sala and Indy, yeah, that's why that happened.
Indy. Oh, wait. Okay. Finish your statement, and then I'll tell you if you're wrong.
What that my statement was just explaining all the stuff leading up to like Indy having to go with Sala to like get answers, but also save Marion at the same time. Why are you shaking your head?
He thinks Marion died in that scene.
Oh, that's right. He does think
Yeah.
Marion's
That's why I
dead.
was like, I'll let you finish, and then I'll tell you you're wrong.
I forgot. He forgot. He thought Marion was dead. Well,
He's
he's
all
going to get
he's all
answers.
depressed, and that's where the bad dates. And then they go
Yeah.
and they have the staff of Raw deal, and they find out that their staff's the wrong size because he only has one half of it. And they go to the what is it, the Cave of Souls or the Soul of Wells or whatever.
Where they're
Well of
pretending they're
Souls.
working. Where they're
They
pretending
go to
they're
the Well of
working.
Souls to find. No, they're not pretending they're working. They sneak into the Well of Souls because they found the Well of Souls, but they had the wrong size stick. So they need to go in to find the exact location of the Ark, and then that's when they go and they find the Ark. They
Right.
get the Ark, and Belloc catches them as they get it
Right.
out because Sala, like the ropes fall in and their fire runs out. But he finds Marion after the Well of Souls, and that's when he's like, "Oh shit, Marion's still alive." And then he leaves her there, and she escapes on her own, which is why she's so much better than Willie Scott. Like,
Yeah.
Marion Ravenwood does not need Indiana Jones. She's drinking dudes under the table, beating the crap out of people, escaping on her own, and killing people. The only thing she needed Indiana Jones for in that movie was to tell her to keep her eyes shut when the Ark is open at the end.
Yeah. And it was this, if he would have said, "You'll melt," she would have been like, "Got it." And like, not like, it would have not been
Yeah,
like
instead
a,
of it's more like, can I do it now? Can I open my eyes now? It's
yeah,
like,
if he would have
no.
been like, your eyes will melt, or you'll melt, just don't look at it. And she would have been
Yeah.
like, "All right, no, no, got it, understood."
Or if the dickhead would have just spent 5 seconds and been like, look, you gotta be humble in front of God. So don't look
If
at
you're
him.
not humble,
Yeah,
if you're not
you will
humble, you'll
melt.
melt.
Your face will melt. And it'll be
But
iconic, but it'll melt. You'll be like,
but
yeah.
it is like, for a movie that is not, it's not that long. It's long, but it's not like, in the world of movies today, it's not that long. It is kind of like, oh, a slow start. We're understanding who Indiana Jones is. We're meeting these characters. We're understanding his relationship to like Marion and Zala and all these people. And then it just goes like, oh, Marion's alive? Cool. She almost got married to Balak. Now we found the Ark. We're going into like put the Ark where it needs to
Belloc.
go. That's what I
You
said.
said Bollock.
Well, he's Bollocks. Belloc.
Belloc. Belloc. Sorry.
Whatever, Belloc. And all leading to the Nazis getting their faces melted. But then, isn't it too? Isn't is the face melting before or after they're on the boat? And he's like, "I'm hurt here and here and here." When she's
When's the last time you watched this movie?
like not that long ago.
Okay, it has been a while for me, but I'll break it down for you. Okay,
I'm
it
looking at when I
starts.
watched
He
it.
goes into the chamber, gets the fertility idol, runs away from a
Uh huh.
boulder. We meet
Thanks.
Belloc.
Going back from the beginning.
I'm gonna just break it all down for you. We meet Belloc. He escapes Belloc. Belloc has the fertility idol. Jumps in Jacques' airplane. Flies back to the United States. Marcus gets on the journey. We meet Marion Ravenwood. We meet the Nazis. Marion Ravenwood holds this thing. The
Yeah.
argument here for me, if we're gonna do story structure, does the first act end when Indy goes to look for the Ark, like when the government's
Yes.
like, or does it end when Marion Ravenwood has the thing from the Staff of Ra and she's like, "We're
That's
partners."
the
I
beginning.
agree. I think it's the
That's the
because that's
beginning
about the
of the.
20-minute mark,
That's
anyways.
yes.
Yeah, and then then you go and Marion and Indy become partners, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
going to meet up with Saul. They meet up with Sala, and there's a lot of time that you glossed over there. Like, I think you're mixing it up because they meet Sala, then Marion gets captured. After Marion gets captured, and I could be wrong with this, but um, Indy goes to the Well of Souls,
Yeah.
finds out where the Ark is actually at, and then when he gets out of the Well of Souls is when he finds Marion and realizes she's alive. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
hold on, I'll be back.
Then he goes to find the Ark, and
Then
that's
he
when,
gets
yeah,
the
yeah,
Ark,
that's
and
when
then
Belloc
Belloc,
captures
wait, but
him.
then Belloc takes him, okay? And then Indy goes, Marion's with them. They break out by like using the pharaoh kind of like animal man statue. They bust through the wall. They
Mhm.
get out of there. They get out. Somehow Indy gets back into his uniform, khaki shirt, khaki pants, that whole deal. Marion's fighting dudes, like knocking dudes out with the shit that holds the plane in place, um, with with a white dress on, and she's in the cockpit of the plane. Indy's fighting those dudes, fights the big dude while the plane is spinning around.
Yeah.
That dude gets chopped up. Then Indy gets on the horses, catches up like with Sala. I don't know if it's horses. I might be mixing up Last Crusade, but Then he has the rocket launcher,
Yeah.
gets the Ark back off of them. No, wait, no, I'm okay. It's been a minute, but I'm still mixing up. I forget exactly how he gets the Ark back from them.
Doesn't he dress up as one of the soldiers and he's like he like hijacks in where they are all talking about the ark and it's
Yeah,
too small for him and that's
right.
when
And the
he's
guy's
like
yelling at him.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so then he gets the Ark back, and that's when the beautiful mise en scène at the shipyard. And I know
Mhm.
that that is like that's the only thing that I'm ever gonna do like film terminology. It's just that it is like a perfect shot of like, and what that means for the layman is that there's no cuts. It's just one
Mhm.
continuous shot, and it's the shipyard and Sala saying goodbye, and then Indy, and then Marion gives him a kiss, and he's like, "Oh, as he's walking away. Then they get on the boat with the captain, and that's where he's like, "It hurts here and here
And then the
and
Nazis
here."
catch them again. Or he gets
And
turned in.
no, he does not get turned in.
I thought
Marion
the
gets
Nazis
kidnapped. The Nazis come. Indy
yeah.
hides in one of those like obophone oboes.
Yeah, but and the people don't they're like we don't know where he went.
No, I killed him and I took his woman. That's what the
Yeah.
guy says. And then Indy swims over to the U-boat or the submarine, whatever it is. They're all like, "Where is he?" And the guys are like, "I can't find him." And then all of a sudden, he like pops out of the water and they play the da 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 da, and he goes into the boat. And then that's when he's like in the desert, threatens to kill them, and Belloc's like, "You're not gonna kill them. This fly flew in my mouth." It didn't though. What's that guy's name? Paul Williams? No, that's the Muppet music guy. What the hell is this?
Paul Freeman.
Paul Freeman. Yeah, Ivan Ooze.
I
Still
have no
alive.
I will let you know right now.
He's got to be like 80 something if he is.
Well, so is Harrison Ford. He's 80 years old.
Yeah, Paul Freeman is actually really cool. But anyway, so that's when Belloc. That's the lead up to they're tied to the pole. And it was nice of, because he was humble that they took off the ropes.
They're like, it's okay.
It's like, thanks for closing your eyes, man. We'll take care of these ropes.
They're like, you were humble.
Yeah. You
Here you go.
closed your eyes. You're obviously
Close your
tied
eyes.
up. Yep. And
And now you're
then
free.
and
And
then
the Nazis face
the part that is completely glossed over is there is no mode of transportation. They are in the middle of a desert. There could be a mode of transportation, honestly, but like there's two of them. They've shown several times that it's at least two fully grown men, not a guy with a bunch of mileage on his body. And I'm not saying she's not strong. I'm just saying that Sala is
she's
like three times her size and was struggling with this thing. And they got to get the Ark on one
and
of these
take it.
automobiles and then take it back to America
Are
so
they
that
in
it can
DC
end
or New
up in a
York at the
warehouse.
end?
I don't know, but that Ark ends up in Utah.
Yeah, because it isn't an area. Isn't it a
51.
different area? Yeah, it's different.
I don't think Spielberg does that.
But
But I hope
well, he
one day we
would
get to
do
talk
it.
about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull
He
and
would do
how.
it because that Spielberg did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so it still would be him.
No, but I'm saying like I would love the chance to just talk about how I felt so badly for Spielberg when he was like, "I don't want to do another Alien movie, George. Like, why do you want to do another Alien movie?" And then George Lucas was like, "These aren't aliens; they're interdimensional beings."
They
It's
sit in a
like-
circle and they're like, "Where is our brother's
and
skull?"
and I just picture Steven Spielberg being like, "Fine, George, fine. They're interdimensional beings. Let's go make this movie and piss everybody off."
It spins. Listen, I rewatched
He's
that
just
movie.
like
I was
he's
like,
just
"This is
like
more
this.
fun than I
It's like
thought."
George Lucas just goes, "They're interdimensional beings," and Steven Spielberg's like he just does Picard, like just slaps him.
Just whatever, George. It's fine. I
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm done working with you. By the way, I saved Revenge of the Sith. I'm done. Like that's it.
We're done. Someone else could
Yeah.
do the fifth
Hey,
Indiana
you want to do
Jones.
part five? I'm going to be making a movie about my life then.
Can't be
And it's going to
bothered.
be a fable for sure.
But yeah, so and then obviously Indiana Jones is mad because they won't. They're like, we're just gonna put it in the warehouse, and
And
he's like,
and he has a black fedora on.
yeah, he does. And him and Marion look real good, and then they eventually go. They have sex. They make Mutt Williams, and then
And
they
she
get.
leaves because
She,
she's like Beverly Crusher. Like, nah, you're too much of an asshole. I'm taking
yeah,
this kid.
you're not
Man,
raising the
turns
child.
out he grew up an asshole. Probably because he didn't have a dad.
He was a douche.
Yeah, he
Um,
had John Hurt. That was his dad.
Oh man, and John Hurt has such a fun little arc in that movie because he's like crazy, and then he's like,
And then he's
and
not.
now I'm back. Now
Yeah.
I'm back.
But yeah, so like our review is basically just like a bunch of rambling and then me being like, no, this is how the movie goes.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times. You're conflating it with every other Indiana Jones movie that
Yeah.
we've
Like
watched.
me, I'm mixing up if he uses the horses to take over the Nazis in this one or Last Crusade.
But yeah, so
Oh, uh, oh, oh,
Patrick, if you were
oh.
rating this movie out of 5 stars, what would you would give Raiders 5 stars?
It's a perfect movie.
I
There's
know it
no
is,
mistakes.
but now I
Steven
have a
Spielberg
follow up question.
himself talks about how this is the only movie that he's ever made that he can just watch it and enjoy it
And I
because
know,
there's
but
no
now I have a
errors.
follow up question.
Okay.
Out of all of the Indiana Jones movies, excluding Dial of Destiny, what is your favorite one to watch?
Oh, honestly, it depends on my mood. It's like it's like a certain other franchise for me. I have certain reasons to watch certain movies on certain days. Like if I'm really busy and I need to like buckle down, I
Mm,
will put on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
it's fun.
No, it's
He
because I
swings like
won't
a
pay it.
monkey.
It's because I won't pay attention to most of it, and I'll get a bunch of work done, like on point. Like, but it's like I look at it like this. Like, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, enormous Star Trek fan. But like, I look at like Indiana Jones and movies in general as like gifts. So like, is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a great movie? No, but there's a positive to it. Like, for instance, I don't like it all that much, but I love Indiana Jones. And like, if I need to focus, I'll put that on. Or Star Trek the Motion Picture. I call that one a gift because
Yeah.
it is long and boring, but it is also a lot like an original series episode with like the way that like that it's set up and how they wrap things up and everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it is an incredibly long and tedious, boring movie with lots of like masturbation shots of the Enterprise and like look at all this special effect. It's like great.
We liked
And
when it
but
just flew on a string. It's fine.
right. But if I'm really busy at work and like I've got to like I don't need to be on the phone as much, but I need to like really focus. Bet your ass I'm gonna put on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or I'm gonna put on like that movie in the background because first of all I know everything that happens in the movie, so I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
pay attention. Secondly, it's not good enough for me to turn my head and be like, oh, I want to watch this. I can listen to it. So saying that I have a favorite movie out of like Indiana Jones is like really hard because I like like when I want to like kind of watch some horror, it's like oh let's throw in Temple. Uh, if I want to like feel a certain way about like relationship with my family, like I'm gonna watch Last Crusade. But if I want to watch like the finest made Indiana Jones movie that
You
was
watch
done,
Raiders?
watch Raiders. And what I mean by that is that, like, okay, lots of times when you have franchises and you got one, two, three, the first movie is never the greatest. It's usually the second movie because the first movie spends all this time like setting it up and it's really good, right? Like Spider-Man, Tobey
Mm-hmm.
Maguire's Spider-Man. That's really good. But then Spider-Man 2 comes out and you don't need to see him get his powers. You don't need to see him do all this other stuff. You just get to see him be Spider-Man, which is why it's awesome. Okay? Indiana Jones doesn't have that problem because of that first scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got his uniform on, like he's an archaeologist, he has a whip and a bag. And like that's all sometimes that's all you need, man. Like you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like that fedora, like it's just it's awesome. Like, and I am gonna just go out on a limb here and say I look pretty effing good in a fedora.
Okay. Hey, people of the podcast, if you want to comment on my brother and his fedora, go right ahead. Um, but see, Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones movie, and I recognize that Raiders is a perfect movie. I love Raiders. I watch Raiders a lot. I enjoy it. Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I could
Yeah, but
watch Last Crusade any day of the week.
when you were born, Last Crusade was already out for 3 years, and
Yeah,
we were in the boom of renting videos and VHS tapes. So Last Crusade was probably the
the
one that
one
you
I
watched the
saw the
most.
most.
Also, because it would have been on HBO if around that time, so it would have been in like frequent view. Because Temple of Doom was the one I've seen the most, probably, and that's because when I was a kid growing up, Temple of Doom was on HBO like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Kalima Shakti Day, Kalima Shakti Day, you betrayed Shiva.
And Temple, I can watch. Like if I'm watching a rewatch of all of Indiana Jones, I will watch Temple of Doom. I'm not watching it otherwise. And I love Short Round. Short Round's one of my favorite characters. I'm I don't like Temple of Doom other than Indy and Short
Shorty.
Round. Yeah, Indy
Willie
and Shorty
Scott
are my two
is
favorite characters. I don't like the rest of them.
I like the reason why I don't like watching uh Temple of Doom is solely Willie Scott. I'm not even like
Yeah,
exaggerating. Like it's just she
it's
screams so much and it's just like grating. Like it's just like I can't. Sorry, Kate.
Kate Capshaw. This is
I
we
have a
love
lot of
you.
respect for you and I know that you like are actually a lot more of a fully
A nice,
developed
yeah.
person than a singer that just screams and is not grateful at all.
But she does have one of the coolest looks because I do love when she puts on like she
His
takes Indiana.
tuxedo,
Yeah, love that. That I love. And
she could
Willie's
sing. I mean, if that's
yeah,
her
Willie
singing,
Scott, your looks I love. Hate you as a person. Marion Ravenwood I love. Plus, I think I liked Marion because when I was like, I mean, I'm naturally a brunette, so I liked Marion Ravenwood because I was like,
me
yay,
too.
brunettes.
I'm
Because you're
naturally a
naturally a
brunette.
brunette. Wow, it's almost like genetics. But
And just for clarity, so I don't have a bunch of people like flipping out on me. Like I don't, I'm not talking smack on Shia LaBeouf. I was just saying like no, Shia LaBeouf is not who I'm talking about. It was Ray Winstone. Because
well,
earlier
Shia
I
LaBeouf
was like,
also sucks. Shia LaBeouf
nah,
sucks.
hey, I'm not picking fights with people
I
on
don't think
here.
anyone would fight you on the fact that Shia LaBeouf sucks. Everyone is in agreement that he sucks.
Dude. I don't know, man. Even Stevens.
Nah, it doesn't say you ruined that. But yeah, so obviously we like Indiana Jones a lot. Um, we will continue doing this podcast with other movies that we liked growing up. I mean, I guess you could, if you guys wanted those listening to send us a movie, you can try. But if
Yeah,
we didn't watch it, it doesn't count. If we were like,
I'll
I'm
watch
not
it.
into that.
So what's
Like,
next? What's the next episode?
well, I think we should do Back to the Future just because we should keep the 80s. Like, we did Spielberg, so we should do Zemeckis. And we should do just
Which
like the
actually,
big.
we're just sticking with Spielberg.
Robert Zemeckis did Back to the Future.
How do you think he got to do Back to the Future?
Well,
It
I
wasn't
understand
because
that.
Robert Zemeckis was super successful, like because he
I
wasn't.
understand it was because of Spielberg, but I was like, but Robert Zemeckis directed that. You made
But
me feel
Steven Spielberg,
crazy.
there's like a zillion Steven Spielberg references in that
I
movie.
know, but you made me feel crazy because I was like, no, but it's Zemeckis. I was like, this is a Zemeckis movie. Then I'm gonna make us watch The Goonies, a movie that I love most of all in this world, and
With
we'll
Ki Hee Kwan.
yeah, Data is my favorite.
Oh,
Um,
actually, what's funny is that like he's referred to as Data in that movie, and Brent Spiner is referred to as Data in Star Trek, and that's like it's supposed to be Data, but
mhm.
like like Star Trek came out in '87, and the Goonies was '86 or '84. I think it was '86.
I think it's actually 85, but hold on,
No,
it's 85.
it's 80,
It's
85. I was
85.
just about to say because of WrestleMania.
I was like,
Like they,
you said 84 and 86. I was like, actually, I think it's 85.
yeah, but and what the hell was my train of thought there? Because
Data.
oh yeah, yeah. So like around the same time when they were developing Star Trek: The Next Generation and this movie, they, you know how they always say that like there's like a well of ideas, and like that's why like a lot of times like similar ideas will all come out at the same time. Like that's just one of those examples of like Steven Spielberg um and Richard Superman
Donner. Donner.
Richard Donner and Gene Roddenberry and Rick Berman, who I don't think was involved yet, but they both say, "Oh no, it's not data, it's data."
It's data.
At the same time.
But yeah. Anyways, as always with podcasts, you should like, rate, review, subscribe, tweet at me because my brother doesn't have social media. I was Rachel Leishman. Say
And
your
I
name.
am man.
And that's Patrick Leishman. And this was our first episode of Cinema Sibs.
And since we're going out on the interweb, I just have two things I would like to do.
Oh
One,
no.
which I'm going to end every episode because I just always wanted to do this, and I hope that by me doing this every episode, that this fine British fellow will get this message from me.
Jesus Christ. Wait,
And that
before you even say this, I have to set up that I have interviewed people who have worked with this fellow, and I have told them my brother wants this. He even got Brent.
I want to
We
say
talked
it to
about
him.
Brent Spiner.
Now,
Brent Spiner did it for my brother because he's like, I'll do it.
that's because Brent Spiner knows how much I love him.
Yes, but go ahead and say what you want me to do if I see him on the streets of Brooklyn.
No, I'm saying it to him now.
That's right.
That's
I
the
have to
point.
call him. I have to call him. You.
Sir Patrick Stewart. I just wanted to say, Patrick, this is Patrick, you sexy son of a bitch.
That's how you're gonna sign off the podcast every
No,
time.
that's not this time.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna sign off the podcast with that, and then follow it up with bump, bum, bump, bum, Indiana, fucking Jones, Indiana, fucking Jones, Indiana, fucking Jones. He's got a whip and a satchel, also a fedora, which is a
Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, bye bye.
sorry everyone.